5 years into our relationship, my lawyer boyfriend Daniel canceled our wedding for the 52nd time. The first time, it was because his intern, Sophie, made a mistake on a case file. He rushed back to the office and left me waiting alone at the beach all day. The second time was during our wedding rehearsal. Sophie was publicly criticized by a partner in the company, and my boyfriend Daniel insisted that she was too new to the industry to handle the pressure. He said he had to comfort her. And now came the 53rd time. This time, I hadn't invited coworkers or friends. Only our parents were there. I was running a fever, standing at the venue and going over the schedule with the wedding planner for what felt like the 100th time. Meanwhile, Daniel Reed, my groom, was in the bridal suite, icing Sophie Carter's sprained ankle. My mother squeezed my hand and lowered her voice.
You've given him too many chances already.
I didn't answer. Everyone knew how long I had waited for this wedding. 5 years. Yet 10 minutes before the ceremony was supposed to start, Daniel still hadn't shown up. When I reached the doorway of the suite, he was helping Sophie to her feet.
Claire, Sophie's ankle's really swollen. I need to take her to the ER.
He spoke as if the decision had already been made for both of us. We'll have to cancel the wedding for now. Then he opened the car door and carefully helped Sophie into the passenger seat. A year ago, I would have cried, but this time, I simply nodded. Okay. Daniel froze for a second, clearly surprised by how easily I accepted it.
I'm glad you understand. I'll bring you your favorite strawberry cheesecake tonight.
The window rolled up, and just like that, he drove away from our wedding with another woman sitting beside him. But he forgot something. I don't like strawberries. I don't like cheesecake either. The person who loves strawberry cheesecake is Sophie. A year ago, Daniel brought one home to cheer me up. I didn't want to disappoint him, so I forced myself to take a bite. The sweetness made my stomach turn. Later, I finally told him the truth. I hated strawberries, and I hated overly sweet desserts. Back then, Daniel immediately pulled out his phone and carefully typed it into his notes. He looked at me and said,
I won't forget again.
I went back into the venue and calmly addressed everyone. The wedding is canceled. Both sets of parents looked at each other. I didn't explain. I simply picked up a pair of scissors and, in front of both families, cut apart the wedding dress I had worn 53 times. I knew then that my 5 years with Daniel were finally over. My mother stood beside me, her eyes red.
Claire, come back to New York with us.
It wasn't the first time my parents had asked me to come home. They were founding partners of one of New York's top law firms. I grew up watching them work, which was why I became a lawyer in the first place. Their plan had always been for me to join the family firm after graduation and build my career there. But then I met Daniel in law school, and for him, I chose to stay in this city. Daniel came from a modest background and cared a little too much about what other people thought of him. So for the past 5 years, I never told him the truth about my family. As far as he knew, I was just another lawyer like him, someone who had built everything from the ground up. I used to think that once we were finally married, I would find the right time to tell him.
Come back to New York with us.
Now, there was no point.
Okay. I'm coming back to New York with you.
That's my girl. Mom and Dad are taking you home.
After settling my parents in, I went back to my apartment alone. The moment I sat down, my phone lit up. Sophie had posted a new story on Instagram. In the photo, she was wearing athletic clothes and smiling beside Daniel. They had clearly just finished a tennis match. Daniel was still holding a racket. Yesterday, he told me he had to take Sophie to the hospital. The caption read, I dragged my favorite person away from his wedding to play tennis with me. He was mad for about 5 minutes. Then I promised to buy him dinner, and he forgave me. I stared at the photo for a long time. Suddenly, my stomach twisted. So that was the emergency. So that was a serious injury. A tennis match. I locked my phone and set it aside. Because I already knew Daniel wasn't coming home tonight. Thankfully, we had never legally gotten married. At least that meant I didn't need a lawyer to leave him. The next morning, I wheeled my suitcase into the law firm. When I submitted my resignation letter, one of the partners was still trying to convince me to stay. The office door was suddenly pushed open. Daniel walks in holding a stack of documents. The moment he saw me, his steps visibly paused.
Claire? Perfect timing. Maybe you can talk some sense into her. She's suddenly quitting. Did you two have a fight?
It has nothing to do with him.
Daniel and I spoke at the same time. The partner looked back and forth between us, then wisely excused himself and left the room. As soon as the door closed, Daniel frowned.
So you're still upset about yesterday?
Claire, I already explained it. Sophie needed help.
I'm just tired.
I want to take some time for myself.
Then take a vacation. Why quit out of nowhere?
Do you know what people are going to think? They'll think you're targeting Sophie. She's just getting started in this profession. If people get the wrong idea, this actor, it's not for me. If people get the wrong idea about her, how is she supposed to build her career?
He worried about everyone's future. He worried about whether Sophie would be judged, whether Sophie would be hurt. But somehow, he never stopped to wonder whether I was hurting. My eyes drifted to his collar. There wasn't just a faint love bite. There was also a small pin attached to the lapel of his suit jacket. Yesterday, Sophie had been wearing the exact same pin on her athletic jacket. Daniel noticed where I was looking and instinctively touched it.
I'm just wearing one to support her.
I nodded and didn't call him out on it. He slipped an arm around my shoulders.
That's more like it. You need to be more mature about things. That's how you become a great lawyer.
Stop talking about quitting. I'll take you to Moonlight tonight. Consider it my way of making it up to you.
He took my silence as agreement. At one point, I had planned to say goodbye properly. But now, I suddenly didn't feel like telling him I was leaving for New York. Just then, the office door opened. Sophie stood in the doorway holding a case file, looking apologetic.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I really don't understand this case.
Daniel let go of me almost immediately. He walked straight over to her, took the file from her hands, and quietly asked what part she was struggling with. Before closing the door behind them, Sophie glanced back at me.
Claire, you don't mind, do you?
The office was silent, except for the sound of my breathing. A second later, the necklace around my neck suddenly slipped free and shattered on the floor. It was the gift Daniel had given me on our first anniversary. I crouched down and picked up the broken pieces one by one. Then I threw every last piece into the trash, along with the final bit of attachment I still had for him. After turning in my resignation letter, I went back to my desk to hand off my work. The person taking over my cases was Mia. She had always been my closest friend at the firm.
Claire, are you really leaving? So now I get front row seats to their office romance every day?
I followed Mia's gaze. Daniel was explaining a case to Sophie. He couldn't have said more than a few critical words before Sophie's eyes immediately filled with tears. The next second, Daniel opened a drawer, pulled out a small gift box, and handed it to her.
Hey, don't cry. This is for passing your internship.
Sophie opened the box. Inside was a Cartier necklace. Her face lit up instantly, and she put it on right there in the office. Then, as if she had only just noticed me watching, she hurried to her feet.
Claire, don't get the wrong idea. Daniel's just rewarding me for doing well at work.
It can't be that expensive, right? I don't really know much about jewelry.
The moment she said that, the office went completely silent. Everyone's eyes bounced between Sophie, Daniel, and me. In 5 years together, Daniel had never bought me an expensive piece of jewelry.
Claire, you two haven't even broken up yet. They're treating you like a complete idiot.
I squeezed her hand to stop her from saying anything else, then looked at the necklace around Sophie's neck.
It looks beautiful. It suits you.
You're really not upset? I just don't want you to misunderstand Daniel.
I'm not upset.
Claire, don't be sarcastic.
I let out a quiet sigh.
I'm serious. I'm not upset.
You'd better not be.
Then he led Sophie back to her seat and continued helping her with the case.
You're really just letting this go?
Of course. Honestly, I broke up with him yesterday.
After all, not a single one of our 53 weddings had actually happened. By the end of the day, Daniel unexpectedly stopped by my desk. He picked up my coat for me and draped it over his arm.
Come on. I made a reservation at Moonlight.
We've got a table at 8. If we leave now, we'll be right on time.